Welcome back. Today we're back on the betting channel for a highly requested NFC North divisional preview.
North side?
Sit up straight.
People were begging for this.
No, people wanted this bad.
Yeah.
They wanted the Jordan hate, the Jordan love hate, all of it, the sitting up straight vibes.
What are we
Good?
doing?
Are you good? Are we good?
Stop.
Can we dial the fuck in?
Well, my cord's
Just stand up and fucking get it, you idiot.
Thanks, Poppy.
All right. Jesus Christ. We're going to hop straight into it. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Let us know in the comments what you think as you're going through this. And let's hop straight into it. Minnesota Vikings, the lowest win total out of the division at 7.5.
It's a high, lowest.
Right?
Yeah, this division might be gas this year.
Impressive.
The under is Nema juiced at -170.
Yeah, that's not even the right win total then if that's where the fucking under is.
No, that is because -6.5 on the other side. The
Yeah.
6.5, which is on
It's
some books
just
on the
as
other side,
juicy
is
as
just as
over.
juiced.
Yeah, it's just like it wasn't a you thing. It was like a Vegas.
No,
is
yeah,
always
Vegas
pulling
don't know what the
some
fuck they
bullshit.
want. There was one book that had him at like 7 flat, which was like I guess
Right.
that's the most accurate, but we don't take those.
don't
So
do
we
no
always add
pushes.
halvesies. We don't take no pushes.
pushies.
That's for bitches. All right, we have the schedule all the way on the right. There's only 3 players right now in the middle that we have 4 underdog lines. Honestly, hate all of them. How do you guys feel? Thoughts?
Big fade on Jay Jettas. Nick, thoughts? Under?
I mean, he's a good player, so there's just no way he could play good this year. just following your logic of the last like 4 or 5 videos. Here's like my initial thought with the Vikings this offseason is they're going to be tragic. Like their offense is going to be tragic. But there's a part of me that's kind of going back and forth because TJ Hawkinson's going to be out for probably a while that I could see the offense just being super, super condensed, right? And it's like only targeting Addison and Jefferson over. I think that the Jefferson number is definitely a pretty tall task given we don't even know who the fuck quarterback is, but he's played really well with shitty quarterbacks behind whoever,
Is
behind
JJ
Kirk.
not locked in to be the...
No, not right now.
No?
They haven't announced.
I mean, they've been
either
pretty
yet.
like I feel like most reports have said Darnold like almost for sure is starting.
Oh,
the year.
really?
Yeah, there's been
Okay.
reports back and forth. Obviously, there's no confirmation of what you're
Yeah.
asking. Like, there's no lock.
Like Darnold can average like 215, 220 a game.
Yeah.
And Jefferson
I
can
think
have
that's even low.
40% of that.
In a
yeah.
dome with O'Connell?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a balance of...
That's good. I just haven't really heard that insight that much when we do the previews. That's
You got to
cool.
know that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
On
when you
turf
get-
That, like,
when
wasn't
you get,
sarcastic. I was
non
like-
trivia fantasy football, like, actual ball numbers.
I gave you the
Big brain
complicant.
type stuff.
Just
the
stop there.
complicant.
James will just hit you with ad libs every once in a while. He'll just repeat
Yeah,
what you
Kevin
said.
O'Connell
Take
is
this
a-
shit off the mic. What the hell's on? Nasty ass shit.
Kevin O'Connell's an offensive genius, and like I said, in a dome, I could see them. See them throwing
in
for
a dome.
I think they might play in a dome. The Lions are in a dome. They're gonna be domed up a lot.
A whole lot of dome in the NFC North.
But like that obviously plays a bit. Like you see a lot of people's numbers drop late in the season when it's wind games, rain games, and all those types of things. So I'm not a JJ fan at all. So I think if it's Darnold, I think their passing offense could still be a formidable force.
I will say, going off that point, though, if you start to look at the end of the season, like they get Green Bay at home, right? And they get Chicago at home. They get Atlanta at home. Like they have a lot
Detroit's away, which is still dome.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, you go Arizona Dome, Atlanta Dome, Chicago Dome.
Chicago ain't no.
You really know him like
home.
that.
Seattle's the toughest one, and like but 6 out of the last 7 or 5 of the last 6 are all like warm weather games. Where this is the division when I think of like NFC North at the end of the year, I think
It's
of
cold
like
snow games.
I think of
yeah.
every game in Chicago outside or Green Bay
Right,
outside, which
yeah.
will not be the case for their schedule.
Yeah.
So I like the alternative point of view there. I do think their ground game is going to be pretty fucking tragic there. So there's nothing I would take the higher on when it comes to the backfield.
I would agree. I'm gonna be honest. I'm also fading Addison this year. I just don't see this offense producing 2 receivers going near 1,000. I get Addison did it last year. He also had some crazy, ridiculous games to help get over there. I don't see that really happening this year, being the wide receiver 2.
What's 850 over 17 games?
Quick math.
I know that's a very tall task for everyone podcasting with right now, but
53 something.
yeah, something in that range.
I mean, looking at their schedule, it's a pretty brutal schedule.
It's 50.
I would be.
do you think that's a brutal schedule? Defensively, I don't
The
really
start
see
of
any
it, the start
No,
of
no,
it's
I'm
tough.
just over. Sorry, I just skipped back to the over under. Like the start, like outside of in New
that's
York, which is
tough.
no lock at all. Where do you see them getting a win until like week 11 potentially.
I mean, if you don't listen, this is the NFL, and they're obviously really bad teams,
yes,
but
of course.
Dude,
they won't be that big of
a tough schedule.
That's not that's a fucking average schedule, dude.
What?
Yeah, dude, this is the average schedule. Like when they're playing against the Giants, they get to play when they're playing against Indy, they're going to be 3.5 point dogs maybe, and at home maybe not, like Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee.
I think that's
what I'm saying.
that's
but their
like,
first 8 games, they could be defeated.
I would agree with that.
They could easily go 1-7. I think they beat the Giants.
And then,
The
what do
Giants
you do?
fucking
You
are
throw in
ass.
JJ to get him reps because you're not doing anything?
never making it out the mud. God damn it. Sam.
Sammy, where you
They're
at,
really
my
just
boy?
starting Darnold because they know whoever goes in is doomed.
But the real question is, what's the strategy there? Do you then let JJ sit an entire season so he doesn't have to go through being 2-8 or 1-9, or do you throw him in because the season's over and you see what he can do?
Looking at the schedule, it does feel like after the first second half of the year feels like the right time because they don't have any real powerhouse games.
And yeah.
Second half of the year, except for maybe at Detroit. The rest of them are, doable to stay in the game. So it feels like we'll probably get half and half, unless Darnold could just be atrocious for a 3-week time span also. Or even the first 5 weeks, if they go fucking 0-5 and they have the bye, maybe you just
they
let
make that
McCarthy
switch there.
after that. Because Detroit's a good team, but it's not like they have a smothering defense. So it's not like you should be too scared to throw McCarthy in there.
Yeah, my one that I know me and JMO talked about this almost as a lock for the under is the 8.5 touchdowns for Jay Jettas. He's done this one season, and now you add in a rookie quarterback. Maybe Sammy can get it done, but it just looks very unrealistic on the surface with this bad offense. It's going to be bad. They're probably not going to They're probably not going to score a ton, and having him at 9 tugs just feels like a high bar when he's not a TD guy.
Yeah.
I have a question though. How much is it? Kirk is great, but I think there's a lot to be said about this offense as a whole, and still throwing to Jettas. Are we really expecting the pass game to drop that significantly?
I think it's going to be a drop that you're going to see in a Washington this year, where you go from a 4K Sam Howell to a 3,100 whoever the hell.
I think Sam Howell to Jaden Daniels is very different than Sam Howell sucks.
Yeah, but he threw a ton. But he threw a ton.
Yeah, you're probably going from a 4,500 yard passer to 37 at
I don't
best.
know. I might be glazing Kevin O'Connell, but I think he's a good offensive
I
mind
think he's
who can
great
figure it
too,
out.
but I don't know if he could work with garbage cans.
But I feel like Jefferson was popping last year with Dobbs, Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
Nick Mullins is a
but
gunslinger,
I looked
though.
into it.
They might need anyone to do
Mullins
it.
was averaging 327 yards a game, which was on pace for an NFL record, and he had 0 overlap.
Not
with Dobbs.
sustainable too.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not only that, he had a 600-yard game in college. Threw for
Mullins?
600 yards.
Mullins did that
He's a
shit
gunslinger, dude.
When he went to San Fran, he had a couple
no,
400
yeah,
fucking
he is a
yard games too.
gunslinger, and that's everyone's oh, if Nick Mullins can do it, why can't everyone? It's because I don't see JJ or Sammy as that type of build where they're going to throw it no matter what.
Sammy slinging stains? No.
Sammy
This could be
slings.
threading a
Can he-
needle, but if they're down a lot, could he not get 4 garbage time? They're down 2 possessions. I mean, that's
might,
not
but
what you can be
This does feel like a division. I mean,
in
you
a dome too.
you have to score a fuckload of points. You know,
right, yeah.
It's like Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago. None of them are smothering defenses. All of them are very
better
above average
offense,
offenses.
yeah.
So it's you're going to have to score and throw the ball a fuck ton. So on the surface, I want to take the lowers on everything, but I don't feel as confident as I thought I would earlier on in the spring.
All right, we'll move on. We gave our thoughts. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. The Bears got raised. 9.5
9.5 under.
is the win total.
Under,
It's a little
dude.
juicy of an under at 155, but it got raised. Only plus 125 for the over. This is an interesting line. Rookie QB, a lot of moving pieces, a fuck ton of UD lines, and
Is
a
that
pretty
just-
easy schedule.
Is that just Swift rushing yards?
Yes.
That's fucking the easiest lower I've ever seen.
Yeah,
The amount of just trickery going on in that backfield. I can see Swift catching 50 passes, but for him,
850 is way too fucking high.
no, not with.
It's because they're just
Khalil
basing
there.
on paid
Roshan.
1,000
Last
last
year,
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell no. But again, we have a ton of lines. Adunze, I feel like, is very high at 750. They're kind of low on Allen at only 825. This whole offense seems very spread out. No one's over 1,000 on the receiving game.
Kinda
They
sneaky
even have
like-
Cole Kmet at 475.
I was about to say sneaky like Cole. I feel like
Sneaky?
Cole. He's not exciting, but what if he just ends up being the red zone guy there? What if he ends up being the end zone target there and walks away with 6-7 touchdowns this year?
3.5's low.
I could see that.
Yeah.
This is tough.
Casey, initial thoughts?
My thoughts are they're playing a 4th place schedule, so that like feels good to me. And I just can't. I keep going back and forth if Caleb is really going to hit the ground running. I lean yes.
Dude, they don't have a real game until like week 11.
That's right. Yeah.
Actually,
then,
I guess week 2 is legit, but.
And then I feel like
week 5 is really good too.
I feel like 10 wins. 10 wins is definitely realistic, and I'm just trying to decide. I mean, this is.
I wouldn't be shocked
obvious,
though if
but
they go like. Is it insane to say they go 1-3 in the first 4 games?
Yes.
I mean,
No.
Houston, Indy, the Rams.
I mean, they
ain't,
play their
easy.
first 5 of 6 games at home, which seems like just a
crazy.
really good way to start. Does anyone have a feeling of Rome, Keenan, and DJ? Like, who's gonna win that?
Of like who's gonna be the wide receiver
Yeah.
1. I feel like it's gonna be DJ.
It's so tough to tell.
Right?
I'm super curious to see how they maneuver like 2 wide receiver set versus 3 wide receiver sets. Because like it's one point or another, you're gonna have to sit one of these really good players
Yeah.
for like
Right.
45% of the snaps, and that feels like a waste. You might-
When you were talking about Swift rushing, you were saying yards
Yeah, low.
because the touchdowns seem high too.
touchdowns seem super
8
fucking high too.
tutties?
Yeah, like they
No,
they
shit.
cycle
Juice the
who's
fuck.
on the goal
This
line
is
all the
this
time,
is a
too.
spicy, by the way. So it is. You're
Okay,
taking.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I was
stats.
looking at like the DJ Moore lower on touchdowns. That kind of seems interesting.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
high
We
at
talked about
6.5.
Cole. We talked about like Keenan's obviously a big body in the red zone. 6.5.
Rome's even a big body in the red
6.5
zone.
seems like a lot. Where I could be thinking incorrectly, but I was thinking back like last year. I feel like a lot of DJ Moore's
It was a lot of
touchdowns
fluky
were
tugs.
long.
It was- they were very long or like random line of scrimmage
Right.
screens that he took. I like that call.
I think the lower there, just with you see all the lines, it's going to be extremely spread out. And if he doesn't have like a game with like
Equinemius, big bodies
good
also
point.
there.
Yeah.
I actually, can you take a Rivals season-long props? Like, can I take Keenan Allen plus 125 on DJ? Because I would easily take that.
I don't think so, but I can.
That would
I'll
be
look
so
for you.
cool.
Because
I'm
Keenan's
pretty
coming
sure
off
I
of
did
like
all.
his best year of his fucking career, and now I kind of feel like if you're a rookie QB,
Lean on the vet.
Keenan's like the
That's
perfect
what I was
vet
thinking.
to lean
Yeah.
on. So I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna take Keenan over DJ Moore, but if you're giving me a 125 spread on that, that's easy fucking.
You
money.
did offensive line
No, you
research,
cannot.
right? Recently?
Vaguely.
Where did the Bears line up? Good. Thank you for that.
They
cut
definitely
out him
weren't.
asking
They definitely weren't top 12. I would say if I had to guess, around like the 20,
Yeah,
20
they're
mark maybe.
mid-
That's,
Worse.
yeah, that's my only concern. I mean, Caleb was clearly used to like making good out of bad situations at USC. He was running around all the time, but like you have a different level of athleticism in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to find as much success. So if they don't have a good line, it could just be that classic meme where you have all the good players down the field, but no one blocking.
Yeah, they're around 20.
Yeah, so that could be tough.
I think the expectations
Swift's under
are
the
just
block.
gotten really high.
Yeah,
Like-
I think it's just because of all the hype they're bringing in all these flashy
have
players.
we ever seen a number 1 overall pick quarterback come into a situation like this before though? Like this?
Yeah,
fucking-
it's this good. Yeah. I mean, you pick first because you're bad, and this is the best setup maybe ever.
right.
Yeah.
So
Shout
I
out
mean,
the
expectations
Panthers.
I think are fairly high.
What did Andrew Luck get?
He started with Ty, but I was like,
I mean, that's not.
Best.
Yeah, that's
like
not,
his best
that's
player.
not
His
Ron,
O-line-
Keenan, and DJ.
His O-line was awful too. You remember like the first like 3-4 years, the narrative was like they're
Why
never
died.
gonna have anyone block for him, kind of fucking thing.
Probably why he quit.
over under, gun to your head. What do you got?
Big under.
I'm going to go over. I really think Caleb's special. And especially, like, I think confidence in sports is, like, the biggest thing. I think it's underestimated a ton just mentally. Like, he is getting a great start at home with some layups against Carolina, Tennessee, early bye week, then
That
into
schedule
Washington
is
and
so
Arizona and New
juicy.
England. Like, coming off the bye, they could just wipe 8, 9, 10, and then already have, like, 7 wins going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I'm going 10 wins also.
I cannot wait. Levis is upsetting him week 1. You just wait.
You just
I would
Disrespecting
love
the
to
ham
see
ski.
him hang that hammer all over Caleb's face.
J-Mo, would you say take it under?
Under, yeah.
All right. I would also lean the under here. Let us know what you guys think. Polarizing team in the comments. Now let's go to the next one. Maybe even more polarizing. The Green Bay Packers, high expectations this year as they made a crazy run last year. Jordan Love, 29.5. Tugs is not even spicy anymore.
They got it.
It is
big
straight.
expectations.
Straight 29.5. Schedule, not as easy either. Starting out,
Ain't got your boy D Wikis.
no, sadly.
What do you think?
I
You
was
think he'll
crushed.
be lower than Dobbs?
Probably.
Yeah, he'll probably be
Yeah.
around 500, 450.
I'm going to be honest. I think that might be even a little high. I was going to say like maybe
I've been
425.
drafting a lot of.
Yeah, I have two. I have two.
All right.
We're just more trusting the process. Okay. And moving on, Josh Jacobs seems a little bit high for me.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, that seems a little bit
Seems
high. But the win total I feel good about. I think 10 wins is in their wheelhouse. Obviously, the schedule isn't fantastic. Starting out in Philly and wherever the fuck.
Pretty hard.
Brazil, I'll be there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's gonna be
lit.
a huge.
We'll be there,
Huge for
actually.
us.
Yeah.
I didn't know to put the like at Philly or whatever the fuck, because it's just not.
It's in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, that
We're
don't.
saying in the honeymoon
neutral.
suite, in
Yeah.
case you were asking.
Okay.
I thought I heard you ask. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I got you. Anyone here feel like they're gonna take the under? Or is everyone pretty much on the over? Everyone liking Green Bay this year?
I
Thoughts?
feel like I love the win total, but I don't know if there's a single prop I'd take the over on.
For me, I have this is a hedge, but I have either the Packers or Lions, one of the two not making it back to the playoffs, which would kind of having them be under 10 wins. And I haven't decided if that's going to be the Packers or the Lions. I feel like the Lions could regress this year, but looking at the Packers schedule, similarly, they're at home. Well, Philly's not technically home, but Arizona seems like a good one to hop on.
Why do you have that?
What do I have
You
left?
just think one of them will
I
make?
think it's an extremely tough division. I think the Vikings are getting slept on a little bit. And in New
that's
York, which is
tough.
no lock at all, where do you see them getting a win until like week 11 potentially? Similar to the AFC North, like you just beat up on each other. A lot of them are splits, like a lot of things where one team is favored and should win at home. That doesn't always happen. Like the NFC North is shaping up to be like they just beat the shit out of each other. And then those other divisions where you have two awful teams at the bottom, they just end up uplifting like two free wins, which are obviously huge in a 17-game season.
Nick, you think Christian Watson's gonna be healthy this year?
I don't know.
Yeah, God, let us
I just.
know that.
I don't know.
He's
what
going to
to
a
do with this
hamstring
receiver
specialist?
group at all. Dude.
750, kind of high.
750 feels high for sure. I would take the lower on that. I would take the lower on Jacobs' yards.
Kind of like Watson Tugs though. 5.5.
I'm not touching that.
Really?
I do feel like Love and Watson were
That was the red zone.
a few inches / feet away from like connecting on a lot of deep balls. Where if they could dial those in a little bit, we could see some magic. But I kind of just feel like all of these receivers are just shaping up to be like who they are. Like Watson is a deep play specialist. Dobbs is like a solid 3 possession guy. Jaden Reed's awesome out of the slot. Wicks is like an exciting outside dude, but like I don't know if any of these guys are going to play more than 85% of the snaps because they could just continue to rotate all the time.
Yeah, keep them fresh.
It's kind of what keeps him good though.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love the
Good,
over.
but
That's why I
like,
love the
where's
team.
the ceiling when it comes to stats and fantasy and stuff?
Yeah, no, a lot of unders being placed. Jordan Love, I think, is the only one I'd feel comfortable with the over on yards. I think he's going to hit the 4K mark. Tugs is a little scary. 29.5 is very, very high. If I'm not mistaken, it's the third highest.
Yeah.
It's up there. I know Dak's at 32.
Yeah, Dak's high and Patty Mahomes is high. I think Jordan Love is 3 at 29.
Where's Love in that? Love's like number 6 MVP, right?
Yeah. I think he's actually number 5 in MVP odds.
Really?
Yeah, he's very high up there. Again, a little tougher of a schedule compared to when you compare to the other teams. A little bit of a hard start with, again, the Philly and being wherever the fuck. And then being home, but you're playing the Colts, who can be a scary team, at Tennessee. Minnesota, we'll see how they fare. And then the Rams in the NFC West, a little run there. But at the end, you're away 3 of the last 5 games. Not hot to end the season, but if anyone can do it, Jordan Love, thoughts?
4 of those last 5 games, which I know J-Mo is going to be interested in, are in a dome. So if you want to, however you want to calculate that,
Good to know.
A
So the over.
lot of people being domed up in the last 5 weeks of the season. For sure.
All right. Not much more to say on the Packers. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on the Packers down below. And now to the Detroit Lions. The best odds on the over-under. The closest to
The
you.
Lions are him.
The Lions have so many.
They don't have one gap in their offense.
No.
Like, not
Like, look at this
one
fucking. Look at the lineup for
gap.
this.
Number 1 O-line, just like weapons out the fucking dick. They
They have one of the
revamped it.
best D lines.
Yeah. D-lines, D-backs, fucking D linebackers.
There's so much D.
A whole
going
lot
on.
of big D's.
Whole lot of
fucking
D's
flying
going
around.
on.
Yeah, no, there's just not a lot of. I think you should take the Packers if you're going to take one. Not get
Honestly, the
well.
first thing this is just something straight off I saw on Twitter, but Zeke had like more receiving yards than Jameer Gibbs last year.
If he would have caught the 75-yard tug. He had a 75-yard.
I'm not sure on that.
I saw
stat.
a tweet. It was like really, really close or something.
was
Last like
within-
8 weeks, he was catching like 6 passes a game.
It was
in New England.
within like 5 yards, but they were talking about Zeke had a 75-yard like touchdown call back off some bullshit call.
So
That
can
would have put
someone-
him way over.
How many touchdowns did David Montgomery? How many touchdowns did he have last
Both
year?
of them had double-digit rushing.
Can someone
touchdowns.
explain to me how in theory their offense is going to be even better this year?
It's
Just
because
another
Gibbs is supposed to take over the RB1 role compared to. But you
there's
think
a lot
about
of
Monty.
Supposa.
It's because Monty
You're telling me
started.
D-Mon's not getting 10 touchdowns.
Okay,
right?
here's what you're. Here's why.
Tell me.
Monty started last season, the first 4 games, Gibbs saw 20% of
Yeah.
the touches. That's not going to happen this year. You're going to come in, and Monty's going to be a 50-50 split straight from the get-go. There's not going to be
That
3
includes the red
touchdown.
zone?
I mean,
Like first and second, you're 7 yards
look
and
at-
in.
D-Mon's still
not
getting
on
on
the
the
look
field.
at-
D-Mon's still
Yeah.
eating on the goal line. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about
That's
it.
I don't
He was also
understand.
banged
What
up
are you
last
arguing
year.
against right now?
I
He
don't
likes the
get
over.
how
He likes the
D-Mon's
over.
TDs are only at 8.5. I understand there's going to
Yeah.
be more of a split, but in
8.5,
a better offense,
that's a relatively high number just to like start a play.
no, it is. But like, I don't know, double digits
I
for
agree with you.
D-Mon
I feel
seems
safe
easy.
he's going to be a double-digit guy, but I also get the allure. Like Gibbs, I think scored like 5 or 6 rushing
At the end of the
touchdowns
year.
in their last
Yeah.
5-6 games. But I also think D-Mon did too, even when he came back. and
Right,
played
they
a
were
lot.
just cooking in
I
general.
think they're just a great fucking team.
Yeah.
And they're going to be on the goal line a lot, and their offensive line is really good. And like the thing is with Campbell though, like he's always wanted that tough bruiser in Montgomery, so I don't think it ever gets to a point where Gibbs is taking 75% of the workload anyways.
Right.
D-Mon
No, I
will
agree.
always be involved because that's how they play.
And it's not only like D-Mon's a bruiser. Like he's
a good running back.
He's better than a bruiser. Yeah, for sure.
No, he's a good running back.
Is it not? Is it odd that Goff's line is higher than Love for yards?
Yards, I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, you look at the weapons. I mean, he is like a alpha receiver that they just paid an
Gazelle,
ungodly amount of
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So I guess they're banking on that.
It's just like if you told me like you got to bet your life was more passing yards next year. I feel like
I feel like it's also the fact of like you know what you're getting out of golf. Like you know you're getting 4K.
And
His-
I know
his
we've
floor
been
is so
joking
high.
Like his-
previously, but Green Bay late when they play outside, Lions are always in the dome. Like the over on
Except at
everyone's
Chicago,
lines
week
and the
16.
over unders totals of the games in domes are just always naturally higher.
Yeah,
and
they got
I
4 out of the last 6.
And they're
at
lucky they're
home.
home against Buffalo this year, week 15.
Yeah,
Dub.
so there's a lot of there's a lot going for them. They're going to be such a high scoring offense. I think
Amon-Ra
there's
moved it
a lot of
I want to take JMO under.
251.
the JMO yardage under feels like I would lean that way
Right?
too. Yeah,
It's so weird they put it at 699.5.
Because like I get it, he'll catch an 80-yard touchdown. But
that'll hurt.
Is he getting 7-8 receptions for like 60 yards in a game? Like never.
I mean,
right?
there's also the chance that he goes down the Kadarius Toney path, where it's just
Yeah.
like we keep thinking he's going to be a thing, and then
Right.
He never is a thing.
like
Injuries
coaches are
and
just like,
then-
"Fuck this
yeah.
guy." Yeah,
The coaches will every offseason be like, he's building a role.
Yeah.
And
Who's
then he
their-
never
who's
builds a
their
role.
3?
I don't even know. Is
they
Cleve
brought in.
Raymond still there?
They brought in.
Oh,
Is
DPJ?
Charkenstein?
Who'd you say?
DPJ? Is he there?
They brought in DPJ.
What about
Yeah.
Sharks?
Sharks in LA
Chargers.
now.
Sharks in LA.
Chargers.
Fuck,
It
he's
might be
been alive
DPJ.
forever.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
DPJ
DPJ
with
would be-
fucking Khalif Raymond probably. or
Yeah,
some
I was gonna
bullshit
say
like
it's
that.
between them.
That's the only. That's the only thing that scares me with Jay Will. If I were to take the lower, is that they actually don't
What
have
about
another
Marv?
receiver.
Marv
No,
Jones?
no.
He went
Brought
back there
that-
last year. I feel like they cut
He
him.
was
by,
there
week
for, like, a
13.
Full of
second.
Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Mid-season.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, maybe if he's the really clear cut too, maybe it's a stay away. But I like.
But it's one of those situations where he's like the wide receiver 2, and this type of analysis gets thrown around a lot, but he is like the 5th option.
Oh, yeah.
in the offense.
Easily.
Yeah, and this is why we love Amon-Ra's over at 1,251.5. 1,500 yards last year. I don't know why they added the 1, but they did that like not even a week ago, just because.
Yeah, I mean, Goff literally spams him.
No, it's like
insane.
snap the ball, press X.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what happens. He's gonna see the volume. He's obviously gonna see the insane targets. Like for me, I draft him within the top 3 wide receivers every single time when we do fantasy drafts, just because he's going like his floor. I feel like is so damn high in this offense, and 1,200 yards just feels low. I'm taking the over there. Any other locks you have, real quick before we?
You played football, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure this is correct, but I feel like it's easier to zero in / double an outside receiver than it is like a slot.
100%.
So like even if you want to put more attention on Amon-Ra, I feel like it's extremely
It's almost
extremely
impossible
difficult.
because he'll get matched up against linebackers all of the time and just absolutely cook them. Obviously, they're going to probably try to go. They'll probably try to go too high, Skyman
high,
over,
yeah.
or they'll try to go cover 6, rotate over to him. But in all, like that's why Cooper Kupp had the big year. Was he was literally just playing right next to the quarterback.
Right.
When you play right in that slot role, they can move you around. They can get the matchups they want. It makes it almost impossible to zero in on him. Where if you're like a Jameson Williams and you're playing an X, you can literally just press him and shade over top, and it's easy.
Yeah. Goff's wife is a dime too. For
Yeah, I mean,
whatever
what-
that's worth.
That's big on the win
Goff's
total.
so pretty, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Win total, gun to your head. What are you taking over under? 10.5.
Over.
I'm gonna do the over Lions, under Packers.
Pulling the trigger. Under.
Pulling the
Wow.
trigger. Damn, why do you say under?
11 is just so many.
Good analysis.
I don't have a reason.
Up dome.
Good players can't hit big lines.
10 and a
Good
half
teams
is-
can't hit
I
big
do-
lines.
I do want to say I kind of like under Goff passing touchdowns. To get 29 is like a lot.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
I'm thinking like
running
he
game?
can throw 27 touchdowns. That's a really good season still.
You know what I like? Just
His
correlate. Yes, correlate Goff lower passing, Demont higher rushing.
Oh, tugs or yards?
Tugs.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Not bad.
All right. I'm gonna also lean the over here, so we have 3 overs and 1 under. Let us know in the comments what you guys think, and we'll catch you next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of fun shit down below. Make sure to use code BDG when you sign up on Underdog to be able to take these codes, get a free $250 plus a free square Patrick Mahomes at half a yard, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.